Hi, Brooke.
How are you?
You know, I'm hanging in there. How are you?
I'm good. I love that for you.
Yeah.
I know on the dish we don't do taste tests anymore, but I thought I'd bring it back with a little throwback. This wine is a week old. I opened it for last week's dish and then I forgot about it. And because I live in South Florida, I have to put red wine in the fridge or it goes bad in 4 to 6 hours.
Yeah. Oh my
So, just
gosh.
like on the original vintage dish, we are now on episode 102. So we're not doing Vienna sausage jello molds anymore. But girl, will you do me the honor of putting me on the dish cam as I try this wine and see if I will throw up or not?
Only for you, girl.
Girl,
Take it away. Ooh,
this New
nice,
Zealand Pinot,
a nice influencer. We like, yeah, that to show with the hand.
this New Zealand Pinot was behind the almond milk and I forgot about it.
Oh my God, looking very editorial this evening, as
Oh
modeled
my God.
by Brooke Cardis. Mm-hmm.
Let's give it a try.
For the best of times.
Oh, that'll do it a pinch.
How is she? What are the top notes? Brooke is also frozen. Oh my gosh. This hasn't happened in a long time.
Oh wait, you cut
Oh,
out. Well,
you're
girl,
back.
what'd you say?
You're back. I said I asked you about the top notes and then you froze. Or maybe I froze. We both froze. Oh no, you're out again. Is it me?
It's 3 days from cooking wine. I'd say the top notes are the aftertaste is a little vinegar. Are you frozen again?
Yeah, your camera
Girl.
has I know. This is listen, this nation really does not want us to be doing this program right now. Oh my gosh. This is uncharted territory. I don't think this has ever happened this much before. We've had some connection problems, but not. Oh no, the stream did drop once. I think it was like episode 10. The stream dropped completely. Hey girl. Zoom just told me you're the host now. I don't know. We keep going in and out. I said, this country really doesn't want us to be doing this program right now.
I think that's actually very accurate.
Mm-hmm.
We do have a big storm rolling through in South Florida, and summer storms are really bad. But I thought we'd be fine. Anyway,
You thought we'd be fine, and then you froze yet again. Yet again. So I think maybe I should.
girl, we're gonna make it work and make you work. How are you?
We're going to make it work and we're going to do it fabulously. And I was just going to say, if that doesn't work, I'll start singing Cole Porter. You got any requests? Actually, actually, that might be a little ambitious. All I really know is Anything Goes. So if you want to hear Let's Misbehave or Anything Goes or Blow Gabriel Blow, those are all squarely within my repertoire. Well, I think I'm just going to have to talk about blowing off steam on my own this week. So, what is steam? Some might call it evaporated, water vapor that has boiled off into the atmosphere. Oh my gosh, it's just me now. Oh my gosh. Someone's calling in. Hello? Caller number 1? What do you think about blowing off steam? Caller number 1.
I'm worried.
Oh my goodness, this does not bode well. I'm in a hallway and Brooke doesn't have internet connection.
worried. I'm gonna have to start doing it right now. How are we doing, dish viewers?
Oh my gosh, we've split the frame. This truly is the covered dish where things go off the rails. Hey girl!
So I joined from my phone.
I love that. You just missed the off-Broadway rendition of Anything Goes starring me and only me. We just got to the part where Lord Evelyn is under the wing of Reno Sweeney, American socialite and liberated woman, and he's sort of like an aristocrat who is a little bit too straight-laced for his own good, and she brings him out of his shell. It's like the original Manic Pixie Dream Girl.
Oh, I love that. You know, one of the biggest insults in college was when everyone told me that I loved the movie Garden State.
Zoe Deschanel.
And then I saw it and I was like, frankly, I would like it. I love it.
Yeah, wait, did you say you love it? Oh God!
I mean, when I was in college, yeah.
No. I was team Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
I mean, everyone was.
Yeah, fair. But I liked that one more than Garden State.
Have you heard like the theory that like Clementine was a trans woman?
No. That's interesting.
Rewatch it and like see it through that lens.
I'll have to do that. That's interesting because it's all about her like forgetting her past, which does sound very much like someone who's transitioned who doesn't want to remember their past life. But then the thing I don't like about that is if Jim Carrey is sort of like, no, wait, it's fine. You should remember those things. It's like, girl, that ain't up to you. You know?
Girl!
You let Clementine deal with that shit on her own. Anyway.
Absolutely.
It is very sweet. What are we here to talk about? We're here to talk about blowing off steam. Girl. So steam, what is it? Scholars have tried for years to understand what exactly steam is. And I think it's something like water vapor that's been suspended in the air.
We're not here to get all sciencey.
No, we're here to get metaphysical.
We're going to read John Donne, the famous metaphysical poet, for the rest of the time.
I don't know. I don't know Miss John Donne.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Death be not proud, for some have called thee strong and mighty, for thou art not so. Death, thou shalt die.
I did read a book entitled Death Be Not Proud for my freshman reading assignment.
That was quoting John Donne.
Yeah. But that one was a lot sadder. It was just about a guy who has to care for his ailing son who eventually dies at the end of the book.
You know, sometimes I doubt that I'm the total package. And then I quote John Donne casually on a video cast that's going in and out due to fireworks and idiots.
Yeah.
And I do realize I am the total package.
Let's keep it going. I mean, we know what our viewership wants. Do you get in the chat? Do you want to hear Robert Frost or do you want to hear Emily Dickinson?
Ooh, Emily Dickinson, you really need to see on the page to get the whole vibe, though. I will say.
She's much better on the page. Oh, she was real sad, but you know, aren't all poets real sad?
It's true. I can never get into Emily Dickinson. She just kind of reminded me of the sixth sister from Little Women who died.
Oh my God, Little Women. Speaking of blowing off steam, poetry is a great way to blow off steam.
Is it?
Yeah, I did it in high school. Doesn't this outfit look like someone who writes in their poetry journal in high school?
No, oh girl, that is something you have to bring to the next dish. Your poetry journal from high school.
I left it on a plane. I don't have it anymore. I was so embarrassed and mortified. I called the airline. I was like, I was on flight 2378 and I lost. And it was
what
like,
a baby.
And they were like, oh, we don't keep any of that stuff. We throw it out. And I was like, my poetry journal. And of course, you know, my self-obsessed gay ass was like, someone's gonna discover it decades later, and you know they're gonna like dredge it up from the landfill. And it was like, girl, ain't nobody looking at your decomposition book.
I love that. What a precious crumb. So,
actually, I didn't have one of the cool decomposition books. I just had like a regular black and white composition book, and it was all filled with poetry for like Daniel or someone, you know, like. Pages 1 through 50 were devoted to. Oh my goodness! You didn't
have a notebook like this.
Oh my gosh! Is this a merch cameo? I wish I had that notebook. Get ready for Dishcam Part 2, where you can get me on a notebook doing tarot. That's very fun. Did we say we were going to do a giveaway last week?
Yeah, we need to get on that. We're going to do a giveaway this week.
Uh,
Anyway, so let me tell you why we're here. Oh no,
yes,
what's 1
please
through
do.
50 of your poetry journal?
Oh, the page 1 through 50 was like Daniel, and then page like then I moved on from that, and then page like 50 through 100 was for like, you know, Nick. It's just like random guys that I was into in high school, and then yeah, just a rotating carousel of unrequited loves.
Wow, yeah, that phrase hits good.
Mm-hmm. It's bleak,
It's
isn't
good.
it?
Well, didn't my mom say that about men, that it's a rotating carousel?
Oh, that was her carousel of fools. That's how she described her dating life, which I
Jesus,
loved.
so accurate. Anyways, so
Relatable. It is.
it is relatable content.
Yeah.
So we're here because we were talking about how different communities and different individuals blow off steam. And we were talking about like how straight folks, like July 4th is a big time for them to like blow off steam and kind of have permission to let loose
Yeah.
and have this like controlled burn. And it's always so ironic to me that as like we in the queer community come out of Pride Month and are like recovered, this happens. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. No, it's so true because we blow off our steam during a different time of year for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And so like 4th of July weekend, I want to sit in my house and watch Bridgerton. You know what I mean? That I don't want to do anything like that remotely involves a lot of effort. That's not
Yeah. Yeah.
that's not what I'm giving you for like 4th of July. I'm experiencing the regret of having been born into this country and baths.
You know,
I took a
let me
nice
tell you
bath
what,
today.
that is nice.
Mm-hmm.
A day bath. Who is she?
What is it as opposed to a night bath?
Yeah, I take my baths at night.
Oh, no, I'm a day bath person. That's so interesting.
What?
Wow, we can't be friends. It was a good run, Brooke.
I know. Everybody, thank you.
Thank you. We're closing it up. It's been a great 2.5 years.
Girl, that is hilarious. Anyways, what were you talking about? Oh, this country. All right,
Yeah,
so
this country.
I'm gonna get a little controversial.
I wish you would.
But you know, I have been thinking a lot about love. In particular, the bond of marriage, right, and unions.
Sorry, that face was involuntary. To a person who has just gotten married, I am a rotted friend. I'm so sorry. It wasn't about you.
You know what you are? You're an honest goblin ass friend. That's what you are. You're honest. And I appreciate that.
We like to call that facial leakage, everybody.
So I appreciate your honesty. But I think that's the whole thing, right? It's like, I think what happens in our culture around marriage is that you're supposed to find this mythical one. And we've talked about that on the dish.
Mm-hmm.
And I have said on the marriage, I think on the marriage episode, the union episode, you know, I love people because of their flaws, not in spite of them. And I think like in all of the amazing things and devastating things that I have learned about this country since really law school, which changed kind of how I viewed this country as not a neutral party in the, you know, perpetual oppression and marginalization, particularly of Black Americans, I really have fallen in deeper love with the resiliency of this country. And it is a bizarre, dichotomous feeling, especially in the things I've read and the experiences I've had and witnessed, to wake up and have a deeper love. But I think that's real love. I think blind, immature, fanatic love is a type of love, and I don't think it's bad. And I had it for, well, Brian from Backstreet Boys, pretty severely, which is the only redhead I ever loved. And I think it's very legitimate, right? I'm not delegitimizing the love people have, but I do think when you love your country in a way that blinds you from the truth of it, I will delegitimize that love because I don't think it's true love.
Well, I don't know what it means to love my country. Like, I know what it means to be in it and to pay my taxes, but I don't, You know, like I've lost this sense of, and I've never been someone with school spirit. So I think that sort of describes a lot of things about me.
Oh, yeah. So, like, did you engage in Spirit Week in
No,
school?
no, 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 no. I tried to get out of it, and my teachers were like, "Yeah, you have to go, but like, do you want an Advil?" This teacher gave me an Advil once because I tried to use having a headache as an excuse for getting out of it.
You should have just said you were having cramps.
Yeah, but I just got that. I just got that. Oh my god.
And like wink and just have them be like, yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, "Sir, you can't be in my office." Dark humor.
Sir, this is an Arby's.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, yeah, I've never had school spirit. My family became atheists when I was 5. And I wasn't like, I was at the anime table in school, so I never had that sort of like positive feeling with the group, like going to the football game. So I think that just kind of, that's just, you just abstract out, and you've just described like my relationship with any establishment. And that's not to say that I don't have a sense of belonging, because I do, but it's also like part of the queer experience is the chosen family versus your native family.
Right.
It's like, I'm not gonna have this synthesized sense of loyalty just because I should.
Right.
But,
well, and I think that's the thing. Like, I think I started in law school and I was where you were.
yeah.
You know?
So how did you get from where you were to where you are now?
I mean, I think just, you know, the input, right? The engaging on the content and the materials that, you know, I don't know, learning the horrors of this country.
Mm-hmm.
I think I hated this country. And then in kind of re-examining, you know, my privilege in this country, it's very difficult for me as a white woman to stand and say, I hate it. I hate this country, because I really can't justify, right? Like, you know what I mean? I think there's also something to the responsibility of the work of like getting myself to that space as a cis white woman who passes.
Well,
you know?
here's the thing. I mean, I hear what you're saying. I also feel like I'm not an anarchist by choice, you know? Despite what I may look like, because I think this outfit is giving you very like brunch with an anarchist. I live
big day bath energy.
Bay bath, yeah. I think it's kind of like the college student who first started taking philosophy classes and wants to tell everyone about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, getting back to the point, I think the more that I learned about the idea of our country or a country, a nation, it sort of made me think that like we're just a bunch of different schools of fish in the same tank, and when viewed from certain angles, it has the illusion of unity, but like we never were or are one American people, right?
Right.
That being said, I do continue to vote and pay my taxes, and I am a civic participant, right? And I think the reason for that is because I have enough hope to think that things could get better if we keep working on it. But it is really discouraging sometimes.
Yeah, I think that's like the ebb and flow for me too.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But here's my thing right now is if one more person tells me they're going to move out of this country.
Same.
I am going to be like, all right, I'll play this fucking game. Where are you going to go, homie? Like, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, it's just an oversimplification, and it's frustrating for me because even that is like steeped in privilege, right? Mm-hmm. When the 2016 election happened, one of my relatives called me and was like, if this election goes the way that, you know, the Republicans want it to go, I'll move you and your partner to Canada. And I flipped out and I was like, so you're going to get me individually out of this, but you don't actually care about my community. And frankly, I used your name, girl. I was like, what about Eileen?
Don't use my name. No, I'm kidding.
Right. And I'm like, okay, like, let's play this game. Are you going to move Eileen? Are you going to move Joseph? Are you going to move all of my chosen family? And I think it's like for me in voting community minded, you know, I don't know, who do you vote for it? Who do you vote for when you go? And the people, the community, right? And not the individual. And even like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I had this fucking cousin, and he's like, don't worry, when you get rich, you're gonna vote a certain way, right? And you'll figure it out. And he's such a displaced millionaire. But I was like, you know what? Like I am annoying about how proud I am to pay my taxes, even though hundreds of thousands of my dollars are probably going to a war machine. Tens of thousands, I'm not rich, but you know what I'm saying? There is money that's going to food stamps and Medicaid and SNAP. And I love that.
Right.
Like, I am for that. So, like, take it. Take my money. Like, take it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I don't know
Yeah,
if I'm being crazy, but I'm like, no. That's the point of community. And that's the most probably corrupt and bureaucratic level. And who knows where the money's going. And there's no transparency and all of that. But that beats the alternative for me.
Yeah. And that's the thing about strategy is it's not an instant. You don't get what you want immediately. You have to take the good with the bad,
Right.
and you have to kind of play the long game, because if I could just choose to stop participating, but then nothing's going to get better. And also, I'm not the type of person that is going to really enjoy being in that place, because it's just like, okay, great. Now I know.
Right.
And I'm not doing anything about it.
Apathy is the most powerful tool of the oppressor.
I like that. Say more about that.
I mean, it's just such a beautiful thing, right? They're all corrupt. They're all this. It doesn't work, right?
It doesn't matter.
Like, well, it doesn't matter,
yeah.
right? And when you do that, your community gets smaller and smaller and smaller until all of a sudden it's just your household. And you're not thinking about your neighbor, and you're not thinking about the unhoused person on the corner, and you're not thinking about, individuals who are struggling with addiction and what they need, or survivors of human trafficking, or victims of human, like, you just keep going, right? What is your community? And when you get apathetic, you become so small.
Yeah. Well, I forget who said it, but the best way to feel better about yourself is to help other people. It's frustratingly true. Like, if you just practice it in a small way, it actually, like, it happens.
I'm writing that down. So, girl, we obviously are very civically engaged here on the dish.
Yeah, we're also, like, very aggressive about it tonight. I think, we were going to be meta about blowing off steam, and I think you and I are just blowing off steam. We're just doing it.
But honestly, I love that for us, and let me tell you why. This is how we blow off steam. Now, I also want to point out, subtle plug.
Show it again, girl. Show it again. No, I'm kidding.
Which is a great drag name, subtle plug. But I think here's my question, getting back to the theme. So, do you blow off steam by, like, getting into these conversations around, like, civic engagement and politics and, like, queer identity and community? Or are you like, give me a mimosa, let's go to brunch, we're going to talk about, like, pleats? Like, what is, for you individually, how you, frankly, blow off steam living and surviving and thriving as a trans woman in Ohio?
Well, I mean, when you zoom it out like that, I don't even know. But I'll tell you how I do it individually, which is, it depends on what I need in that moment. Like, sometimes I blow off steam and I'll go out with friends and just, like, have a couple drinks and just, like, enjoy without, sort of, like, disconnecting. And then another way that I'll blow off steam is by, like, really engaging heavily in the work, so just and you got to do both, right? Like, you have to do, I feel like it's actually a nice healthy triangle. I'm bringing the food pyramid back, girl. No, I'm just kidding. So it's a triangle of three things, right? Like, you have to spend time by yourself and rest and recharge, and then the next vertex is, like, really engaging meaningfully in purpose-driven work, whatever that looks like for you. And then the third thing is like what I think sounds the most like blowing off steam to me, which is just sort of like doing something that's fun or frivolous or not in any way involved with whatever kinds of work you're engaged with. But also for me, blowing off steam is typically with other people. It's not by myself.
How does burlesque play into blowing off steam for you?
You know, that's really funny. I feel like it used to be more of a vehicle for blowing off steam, but now I think of it more as a form of work because it involves rehearsal and choreography and costuming and accounting to a certain degree. So I still love it, but it doesn't feel like blowing off steam anymore because it's not just like something I threw together and then I'm bringing to stage, and it's like blowing off steam is more of like an instant gratification sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's allowing yourself a little bit of, because your brain likes instant gratification. I'm now going to like do psychology, which is something I know absolutely nothing about. But I think like I wonder. Let's use the verb I wonder. I wonder if the brain likes instant gratification, and so when you're involved in things that take a long time, there's like a frustration that gets built up, and so when you're blowing off steam, you're giving yourself a little bit of instant gratification, so it just satisfies
Right.
that denial.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I don't think there's a wrong answer. I'm just very curious, like how performance shows up because it is a job, right? And it's
Yeah.
like maybe in the 3 to 4 minutes or 10, 8 to 10 minutes, depending on how many numbers you have, you're on stage. There is a release, right? But
Yeah.
it's also the build up and the work. You might come out net zero. Like you may have caused yourself as much stress and then released it on stage.
Yeah. I think it depends on how I was that week because sometimes, I mean, it's always really cathartic, but sometimes I'll get done with it and I'm like, wow, I'm just really exhausted because of what it took to get to that moment of being in that show that
Right.
night. And then other times I'm like, wow, I really needed that. That was recharging. It was catharsis in an energizing way. But it just like,
Yeah.
and you can't predict which one it's going to be because it involves so many different factors. So that could be a challenge.
100%.
How does
100%.
performing, how does it, would you describe that as a form of blowing off steam?
I mean, I think it's a risk because, I said with all the Love World, burlesque is a little more predictable in terms of not necessarily, the greater response, but your performance. Like you have a choreographed number, or not, but you have
I was
an
going to say,
idea.
I'm glad it appears that way.
Right. You have an idea, like, of what you're going to do. And like I've seen you, girl, have a zipper break and like like I've seen performers lose shoes. I've seen performers fall. I've seen seeing burlesque, and I'm starting my comedy career by emceeing burlesque. I've seen all of it. And even the numbers that are right with those fails, right, are brilliant and awesome. And, and there's a personal thing with comedy, right. And a lot of different forms of performance. It can also send you, to a place
Send
like
you where? No.
if you bomb.
Oh, yeah.
So like there's a little less predictability in that. And like I find especially like now, as I'm getting into a space, like one of the things that's the most predictable way for me to kind of like release is like cooking. And it sounds really weird because I'm like you, I'm a very social person,
Mm-hmm.
but like my internal recharge time is cooking. Like I'll put on music and whatever, and like if you come in my kitchen, like unless we're entertaining, right, and like you're in my kitchen, that's fine.
Yeah.
If you come in my kitchen or like let's talk, I'm like, really, right now? Like that is my recharge incentive, right? And I'm such a social person, that sounds really weird, but I do need more recharge, blowing off steam time alone. You know what I mean? And kind of just doing my own thing and feeling it and whatever. And it is a weird freedom, but it's solo. And then, I think the friends and the community thing, which is hard. Like, New Jersey invented redlining and Florida perfected it. Like our state is so geographically separated. We're so segregated. We're so redlined. Communities have no access to one another. So it's incredibly isolating, and it's designed that way due to classism and racism. So it's really challenging sometimes for me down here to like find community. So I've had to find different ways to blow off steam that are not the ways I would have done in Columbus, which is like Frank's with you and Joseph or whatever. But I just can't, I don't have that here all the time.
So what are the ways that you blow off steam there that you wouldn't do in Columbus?
You're looking at it, girl.
Covered dish?
Covered dish.
Actually, covered dish really is a way of blowing off steam because we often talk about some deep things that I'm not necessarily talking about in the course of my day-to-day life.
100%. And I'm not the kind of person that, I don't make it to Miami after dark, only with you.
Yeah. Well,
and I'm just
that
not,
one time.
Girl, oh my God, I can't believe we survived. Anyways.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things where it's evolved since I was younger. And like when we get to a Saturday night when I was in law school and we would go out and hit bossy girls and you do burlesque and I do stand up and we'd be there till bar close and then someone's driving to Cane's and we're watching Bob's till 3:45 in the morning.
Yeah.
Like, is that blowing off steam or is that like beginning of a beautiful friendship?
I think it's both.
Yeah.
I like blowing off steam with you. I feel like we find a way to blow off steam every time we see each other.
Yeah. I do think there's like you always have to be careful as performers too. Like I feel like the escapism is so real for both of us and I think that's why we really connect.
Yeah.
So I encourage everyone, find that escape art. Like you and I are in our own escape room every time we hang out. And I feel like we always solve it and we get out and we're better for it, But I think
I love this metaphor, yeah.
Yeah, like I think we just help each other solve the problems. And I think we always have. But I don't know, I think blowing off steam for the community tonight, like the straight folks out there that are going to blow their fingers off, that's how they do it. And I respect and understand their process and it's not mine.
Yeah, well, it's interesting about fireworks displays specifically. I do always look at the smoke in the air and I'm like, what is the impact of that? Because I am just naturally a killjoy now. But I like to watch a display from afar, but I don't like to be in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like on the hill with, next to all the other people with the blankets on there. And now you could say, Eileen, is that because you have crowd anxiety? Probably partly. Eileen, is that because you're a bitter contrarian? Probably partly. But also I think it's just like, I don't know, the whenever I see fireworks, I can't not think of this holiday and just this sort of like deep unknowable discomfort. But you know what? I'll keep looking into it and I'll report back.
Girl, first of all, you described crowd anxiety and a bitter contrarian. Are you talking about Penny? I
mean, I think that's why she and I got along so well.
She loved you. She'd always try to break into your room. Anyways, This has been a very, very fabulous journey where we barely got to blowing off steam, but I think we got to some other good stuff.
I think we did. It's been very elucidating, and we found our way back to each other despite challenges of inclement weather and, unreliable internet connections. Like, we really do overcome on this show. So for that, I thank you. You know what? Here's the only thing. The one thing I ask for the 4th of July, and this is real, okay? If you want me to come to your fireworks display, this is like an appeal to some individual who has a fireworks display, I guess. If you want me to come to your fireworks display, I better not hear "I'm proud to be an American," where at least I know I'm free. That is the one song that I won't stand for it.
I think that's totally fair. Mine is a Toby Keith song. So I think we all have those lines in the sand we need to draw.
Yeah, you can play any of the rest of them. Literally any other song. That's the one song that I'm just like, no ma'am.
I don't like that weird war porn Toby Keith song about 9/11. I can't think of the name of it. We'll have
Yeah.
that open the show next week. Anyway,
Great, love that.
this has been Covered Dish where we cook it up and eat it.
Ooh, hey girl.
Maybe the tagline, girl, that's your 4th of July present. You're
Thank
welcome.
you. And who would play her? I love that. Girl, well, on that note, we'll see you next week. I will be in Alaska, so we need to figure out what we're doing.
Girl.
Visiting my
Well,
sister.
we'll see. I have no idea the time difference in Anchorage.
It's 4 hours earlier in Anchorage. We're 4 hours later. So that means that 7 o'clock. That means 7 o'clock here is 3 o'clock there.
Oh my God, girl.
So we'll do a 3 o'clock dish.
It's a bath time dish. You take a day bath, I take a night bath, and we are taking a bath at the same time.
Well, you heard it here. We're gonna do cover dish from our respective bathtubs next week.
It's happening.
Yeah.
Anyways, love you all individually and collectively.
Yes, love you all and love you individually, Brooke. See you next time. Bye.